He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife on the beach. Did it even happen? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Over the course of the weekend, photographs appeared in TMZ showing this one's wife and Harry on the beach. The article that accompanied those pictures explained that the family were enjoying a day out on the beach in California, that Archie was attending some surf school. And there appeared to be a picture of what people believe may well be Archie as he was running towards the sea, although his face had been cut off in the picture, so all you saw was his hair and his body. There was also a video that appeared showing the children attending the surf school with a boy, which many believe may well be Archie, shown rolling around on the floor, which resulted in particular commentary about his behaviour, something that I've addressed in a separate video, so I'm not going to go over those observations once again. Accordingly, what we have is a pro-Sussex TMZ puff piece. It was favourable, talking about how they were enjoying themselves and they were out there in the sunshine, etc. That it showed some pictures which had individuals that you could see were evidently Harry and this one's wife. Less certain as to it being Archie. There was some suggestion that Lilibet was there, but that was difficult to confirm. With regard to the pictures, was it the case that they were taken by TMZ, somebody else in the paparazzi that supplied them to TMZ? Or was it the case that it was somebody that was instructed to do so by this one's wife, and she made them available to TMZ? We don't know. There was also the video that was created by the surf school, Surf Happens, which they placed on their Instagram account, from which stills were taken. Accordingly, on the face of it, one looks to be witnessing a simple family day out, where the Sussexes went to the beach and Archie was engaged in learning how to surf. But then, certain discrepancies have crept in. People questioned why Archie was the only one wearing a gold t-shirt. Well, I pointed out that actually, if you look at other videos put up by the surf outfit, you'll see there are other children wearing gold t-shirts as well, so nothing turns on that. Many people believed that Archie had been photoshopped into the two photographs that were circulating on the internet, claiming that he didn't quite look right in the pictures and that his shadow didn't match, although it's the case that they weren't photoshopped because they were taken from a video clip, and that video clip had been created by Surf Happens, not by the Sussexes. However, the photographs that appeared in TMZ certainly do appear to have some discrepancies. For instance, Harry's left hand appears to have too many fingers. There's a picture of a dog lead, which appears to have a dog lead going down diagonally and then magically in mid-air looks like it's snagged on something to then go in another angle towards the dog. It's almost as if the dog has been moved from its original position and somebody has extended the lead using Photoshop. Somebody on X queried when I made that observation, why would that happen? And all I could think of is perhaps the dog had cocked its leg on this one's wife and was enjoying having a piddle, and therefore she didn't want that to be seen in the pictures, so they were moved along. There was a suggestion of, I think it might have been Harry or somebody else's foot having looked to appear to have disappeared, although that might be because it was behind a ridge of sand. People queried why there was a hand placed on this one's wife's chest. I remarked that maybe it was because the individual was trying to find her heart. Well, good luck with that. But it was certainly the case that there were a number of discrepancies, and I'm aware that other people have perhaps gone into greater detail than I have in relation to them. But prima facie, there do appear to be some difficulties with those photographs. I think it's less so the case in relation to the ones that appeared in respect of Archie, because the provenance of those has come from the surf school. I've noticed that in some comments on my material that people remarked that the photographs from the beach were from 2021, But when I've asked what evidence there is to support that, no answer has yet been forthcoming. So that remains up in the air and might just be simply a rumour. Other people have noted that when you look at the beach pictures where you see Harry and this one's wife, you're looking at a crowded beach. But when you're looking at the video and the pictures involving the children at the surf school, the beach isn't crowded. And people have queried, is it two separate occasions? Well, that's a legitimate query, but I think it's simply explained by they could be on different sections of the beach, or it's taken at different times when things have become quieter. It does look like the video with the children is taken at the end of the day when all of the teaching and learning has been concluded. Accordingly, there is a prima facie argument that the photographs that were shown by TMZ have been tampered with. And therefore, that raises the question, if it didn't actually happen as has been portrayed, why would this one's wife invent it? Now, in order to answer that question, we must look at her narcissism, because as you know, and as I drum into you on a repeated basis, this one's wife's behaviour when it comes to dealing with other people is governed by her narcissism and her narcissism alone. It is her narcissism that causes her to pursue the prime aims, and it does so by making her feel in a particular way and think in a particular way. Accordingly, might it be that she did this for fuel? Well, potentially, yes. That there would be reactions to the appearance in TMZ because she has kept a low profile for around about 3 or 4 weeks, other than posting stuff on the as ever Instagram. Therefore, it might be argued that she could be looking for some fuel, but I certainly don't see that she was desperate for it. I don't see that she was at a critical level in relation to fuel. After all, she would be interacting with non-intimate secondary sources by way of her family, by way of friends, by way of staff. There would be some interaction with the intimate partner primary source, Harry, assuming that he was around. It appears to be the case. And I don't see that ultimately, even if Harry wasn't around, given the fact that he was in Angola and Botswana, that she would be placed in a fuel-critical situation, which would mean that she would be driven to do this purely for the pursuit of fuel. So one would discount that. It's so commonly the case, we know that this one's wife loves to upstage other people because that's linked to the threat to control. So, for example, when Catherine was appearing at Trooping the Colour, out she came with her shitty dog biscuits and jam. And we've seen time and time again where anything is in relation to the royal family in particular, she will do something to then try and bring the spotlight back onto herself. But as far as I can recall, over the course of this weekend, there wasn't anything particular that was taking place in relation to the royal family. Indeed, they've probably headed up to Balmoral, so it's rather quiet on that front. And therefore, in the circumstances, it's more likely that there wasn't an actual need for her to try and nullify a potential threat to control posed by coverage of other things, and there wasn't a need for her to upstage with this coverage. Accordingly, given the fact that it's unlikely that she needed the fuel and it's unlikely that she needed to nullify a threat to control in relation to upstaging, what could it be? Well, the only other thing that it might be is the repeated suggestions that things are all not well between her and Harry, that Harry has gone AWOL, that off he went to Angola and then Botswana, that there have been reports about suggested infidelity on his part. And therefore, it's possible that those comments have resulted in a need by this one's wife to demonstrate that they are happy families, that there they are together with their child or their children. It could also be the case that it might be a reaction to a threat to control, with people commenting about how Lilibet is the golden child and Harry is the scapegoat, that Archie is the scapegoat, and therefore in the circumstances that she wanted to redress the balance and say, see, we do things with Archie. He isn't always left out. Lilibet isn't the golden child. So it could be a nullification of threat to control in relation to allegations that Harry isn't interested in her anymore, was wanting to be away from her, and indeed might have been playing around, and or the allegations of less favourable treatment towards Archie. Now, those things could be dealt with by way of the provision of pictures and a puff piece article in TMZ, leaked by her, because how else would they know that they were there, and that it could be done based upon real events. But the fact that there does appear to be some distortion of the photographs does call into question the legitimacy. Might it just been editing to make them look better? Possibly. Or might it be because it didn't actually take place and it's an amalgamation of photographs to make it look like it did take place? That, of course, then clashes with the material that was put up by Surf Happens. If one assumes that that is Archie in the video that has been shown, then clearly he was in attendance, and why would Surf Happens make something up? That seems far less likely. Therefore, in the circumstances, it does lead to an interesting situation. There's certainly a basis for this one's wife looking to threaten control, or rather deal with the threat to control in relation to allegations about the state of her relationship with Harry, his absence, and allegations of less favourable treatment of Archie. That, of course, Occam's razor, the simplest way to deal with that is to have the puff piece released showing that they were on the beach. But then, why are there the strange aspects that can be seen in the photographs? Is it just poor photographs that have been taken with a potato? Has there been some editing which has been done to try and make the pictures look better? Or is it for more nefarious reasons? And how does that all fit with the video that has been released by Surf Happens, which tends to suggest that it did take place? Might it be that Archie was just there on his own with a nanny, and therefore this one's wife and Harry put out the beach photos to make it look like they were there in attendance? Well, I've offered you a variety of different explanations as to why the narcissist might behave this way, and I'd be interested to know your views and comments in the section below, in the comment section, to offer your observations about what you think has happened. Is it the case that these are legitimate photographs and a video which have been leaked for the purposes of PR puff piece, and Surf Happens was just making use of the video and there was nothing particularly untoward about that? But TMZ have been given the photographs by this one's wife or people acting on her behalf as a need for nullification of threat to control in relation to the matters that I've told you about? Or is it the case that she needed to nullify those threats to control? There wasn't an attendance by Harry or her on the beach, although Archie was there surfing, and because of the presence of that video, is it the case that this one's wife has sought to manufacture photographs even though her and Harry were not there? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.